Today we're going to be looking at the best budget helmets across the range, going from full face, flip up and half face helmets. So let's talk about it. But first, before considering any of these helmets that I'm about to suggest, I highly recommend you actually go and test them out for yourselves. The best way to get fitted up is to actually come down to one of our 16 UK stores nationwide. Starting off with our selection of full face helmets. Let's go over to the HJC C10. This is the world-renowned helmet for its affordability and its bang for its buck. But apart from that, that's pretty much it. It's ECE 2206 compliant. The vents work as vents, the visors, and the padding on the inside is okay. It's gonna just be a helmet that gets you from A to B, and it's gonna protect you really well. Moving on to the second helmet in this list, we get the Scorpion XO 491. Now, before I get started, this is all going to be ECE 2206, and by that I mean everything on this list. Also, something else that all of these share in common is the micro ratchet strap, and if you're unfamiliar, it works like an airplane seatbelt. With that being said, this helmet is actually also ride recommended. It also has 3 shell sizes across the size range. Also, something different with this compared to the C10 is it has a nice little drop down sun visor on the inside. Now at this price point, you're basically paying for the protection as well as some look. So it's completely down to you, like I said earlier, whether it fits you well and which helmet you like the most. So let's move on to the Shark. The Shark RIDDLL 2 comes a bit higher in terms of its price point, but it also comes with a bit more tech. That tech being the high impact carbon Lexan weave of the shell. So this disperses the energy equally across the shell in its entirety. Now, if you look at the visor mechanism, it's actually in the center for convenience for us riders. You can use it with your left or your right hand. Also, the sun visor slider is on top of the head as well. Overall, this helmet is also made so it's an easy fit for the general public. So you can pretty much guarantee that if you chuck one on, it's gonna fit you right. This is only a few of our selection of budget-friendly full-face lids. If you actually want to see more of them, just click the little link in the description to see a wide variety of these lids on there. Moving on to the flip up lids, I do have to say before we get started that neither myself or the person that was working with me when we were looking for the helmets knew that we were actually picking up the same coloured helmets for the flip ups. Like, we chose all the helmets across the range, but somehow we managed to get all the flip ups in a white colourway. I promise you there are different colours and graphic options for each of these helmets. But anyway, let's move on to the first one within this little category, the Stealth V159. Now, like alongside with all these other helmets, it's ECE 2206. It has a PJ homologation, which is what all of these have, which basically means it's protective in the full face and open face position. The J just basically stands for jet. Now, with this as well, you get the nice little visor system that's in the middle and the center. So again, you can use whichever hand you want to use in order to open up that visor. Now, the mechanism for the flip front on this is slightly different. It's a different orientation. Instead of it being underneath the helmet, it's actually in the front portion of the chin bar. So you can push it down and then lift it up. It's got vents. It's going to be a decent helmet if you want to get from A to B, but that is that helmet in its unison, and it's going to be the cheapest, most affordable flip up helmet in this category lineup that we have right now. This is the SPADA ORION 2, clearly stating that this is the second rendition of this said helmet. Now, with that, it comes with a few little updates and a few features that might be more appealing to you, the riders. So, if you're a rider that wears glasses, this actually has an easy fit system to make it easier for you to get the glasses in. Now, across all the lines on flip-up lids, you will have a bit more of a convenience factor added to that, in that you can open the flip-up bar so you can actually put your glasses on, but this just makes it easier to slot it into the sides of the actual helmet. Now, the chin bar on this, you open it from the bottom and up, and if you look into the inside, you actually have cool little interior padding. It's a bit different, a bit stylistically different, that is. And also you get a lovely little chin curtain, you get a nice seal around the neck, and you also get a nice breath deflector at the top there to try and minimize the amount of fogging up you would have if you didn't wear a pin lock inside this visor. The HJC i90 is going to be higher up in that price point across the board in comparison to the rest that we're talking about today. but it does mean you're moving more towards that premium helmet. You're getting yourself into that HJC helmet. Now this is going to be one that's more affordable, of course, as it is in this list, but it also means that the stylistic cues that are being made on this helmet is going to be a little bit of a nicer finish. The gloss is a bit nicer, it's a bit shinier. Also, you get more graphic options because it is HJC. They love their graphics. The visor mechanism for this is operated on one on either side, so you still have freedom of use to use your left or your right hand. The sun visor is operated by a buttery smooth mechanism on the lower left underneath the ear port. And the great thing about this is if you're wanting to get an intercom unit but don't want to spend an arm and a leg, you can get the HJC Smart 10B or 20B integrated comms unit that go into that helmet, and then you'd be on the road listening to your music and your navigation. Last but no means least, we have the open face helmets that we've chosen out of a lineup of a lot of open face lids. Starting off with the CABERG Riviera V4X, what a fancy name that is. It's going to be the only open face helmet in this lineup that I have today that has a full visor. What I mean by that is it's a jet helmet, so the visor coverage is the entirety of your face. Now, with this, if you're going to look at the ventilation, well, it's pretty simple. You just open up this and you've gonna get a lot of wind in your face, and that's pretty much what open faces are meant for. So if you're slightly more claustrophobic, then this may be a good choice for you. So for the next two helmets, these are going to be more of your retro classic kind of helmets, so I thought I'd give you a couple of options depending in which way you want to go. So with the HJC V30, which is this one in front of you, it has a nice little carbon fiber look to it, giving it a more modern nod to a retro sort of style. Now the visor mechanism on this is slightly different compared to the CABERG that we just spoke about, in that it only covers your eyes and it goes down to your nose. It's kind of like a pair of sunglasses in that that's how far it goes down. That's literally it. On the either side you have a pull tab so you can pull it down, and I believe the inside is also interchangeable as well. So if you want a custom fit or want to put comms in it, you can too. Now, if you want something that is truly retro in its looks but has a modern safety rating, then your next best bet is going to be the Scorpion Belfast Evo. Now, this is a nice sort of color. You also have different color options for this, a wide variety of them as well, with little accents that make it a little bit nicer. So that being like the stitching around the brim or the rim even of the helmet is really nice. So that orange stitching there. You have the drop down sun visor on the inside as you would need it if you didn't want to wear goggles, but if you're going to get this, you're probably going to get some goggles. And another nice thing about this is the little poppers at the top here. So if you wanted to sport a peak, then you could, such as this one on here, to just elevate that look a bit more. The interior padding is also leather, which is a nice sort of look that you can have in a retro helmet. And if you're going to say to me, what about the ventilation? Would it get hot and sweaty? One, no, you have massive ventilation because it's a half face. And two, you also have a quick wick system inside of there, which means it wicks off the moisture and doesn't make your helmet stinky. And the last thing I wanted to add to that is the cool little bag that you actually get with it. It really nods towards that retro styling, and it just suits the overall look of this helmet. I think Scorpion really won it with this one. So before we wrap up this video, I think we should touch upon the open face just one more time and say that if you're not fully set out on the look, then please do consider a full face helmet, as we believe it here in Infinity to be a safer option. Now, that's not to say you can't purchase one for yourself. There will be a link in the description for you to click on if you so choose to purchase one of these. Now, this is just a few out of hundreds and hundreds of budget-friendly options that we have on our website. So if you wanted to check that out, link in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Comment down below your favorite out of the lineup. Be sure to subscribe, ride safe, and we'll see you all soon.